Hey there people of the internet, my name is Sivana and welcome to my studio. Due to the popularity of my D&D Party video, I decided to do more in the form of a few comic panels and story time. Once again, thank you so much to everyone who supports me and this channel. It's such a blast sharing all of my art with you. Now without further ado, let's get into the drawing. I started with just some simple sketches and the border lines. I also did a very simple style because I didn't want this to be super long or super detailed, but detailed enough to start off our journey together. So, 3 adventurers awoke in a caravan after all recently being arrested for one thing or another. And before they even had a chance to speak, BAM! The prison carriage was hit and knocked over by a massive boulder, as you can see here, and the adventurers were thrown out of the carriage. Introducing Fee, the silver dragonborn fighter dressed in scale mail. Get it? Who has now become a fugitive from the kingdom of Tharn for murdering their king, King Tharn. And then Varys, the elderly Furbolg warlock who really doesn't even know why he's here or what's going on. And Isaiah of Ardentwell, a young sword mage who once ran with a mercenary group called the Free Rangers, but has now recently found himself in a bit of trouble. Upon being thrust from their cage, they see it was a group of giants who attacked the caravan, and they took advantage of the chaos as they made their escape. And that's basically all that's happening in these panels, but don't worry, more is on the way as the story continues. I was going to try to copy the opening scene from Skyrim, where you're in a carriage and wake up and you see the dudes who are then talking to you.
Hey, you're finally awake.
But it wasn't really working, so instead I looked up a bunch of pictures of carriages and covered wagons and found this plastic mini that was exactly what I was looking for, and I pretty much just copied it. And for this next half panel of it being hit by a boulder, I just used the power of Photoshop to mess with the ratios and positions to make it look all oblong and stuff. Also, this driver's face is one of the best things I've ever drawn. I took a very simple and cartoony approach to this because I thought it would be a lot of fun and also less work. The issue I faced when trying to do the Nightmare Game comic is that I am a huge perfectionist to things that are really important to me. Not to say this D&D campaign isn't important to me, because it certainly is, but it is definitely less heavy. The Nightmare Game is something I've been working on for almost 10 years at this point, and it deals with a lot of serious and heavy topics about myself and my life growing up, so I just want it to be absolutely perfect before I decide to put it out there and have other people see it. So it will happen in the future, I'm just not going to promise a set date, or have any of you hold me accountable for it. It'll get done when it gets done and I feel like it's ready. All that to say, this sillier style is much easier for me, and it is good practice for when I do continue my work on the Nightmare Game, but for now this is all I can provide to you, so I hope you understand and still enjoy it. The poses were actually pretty easy. I probably should have shown my process, but all I did was draw some stick figures in silly poses, and then put some meat on them in the form of circles before continuing with the finer character details, like Fee being a dragon person, Varys being a fuzzy old man, and Isaiah being small. Seriously, he is baby. He's the 17-year-old shonen protagonist who is like 5'10" compared to 28-year-old Fee who is 6'7", and the 50-something-year-old 7-foot-tall Varys. We are certainly a wacky bunch, and it only gets wackier as time goes on. And I just love this campaign so much, it's going to be going on for a long time. Our DM Ron has just put so much love and care into this world, and I'm so excited to explore it all. And just as a refresher, Isaiah is Victor's character, as he plays a custom sword mage class, and Varys is Kaylee's character, and we don't really know a whole lot about his backstory yet. But I'm sure we'll get there. Also, to clarify, for no real reason, but I will only be doing this comic style for this campaign first. Once it's done or caught up, then I'll probably dip into my other campaigns. I've got like 4 of them going on the way, and one that I'm DMing because gosh, I just love D&D and can't get enough of it. I've also bought way more dice that I want to share with all of you in a future video where I turn my dice sets into characters. I have an obsession with D&D, with dice, and with making characters for no reason. It's kinda like my thing. For the giants, I used a couple stone giant minis as reference and put them in furs and stuff because I don't know if we knew exactly what kind of giants they were as we were running away, so I just wanted them to be pretty generic. Also, I just checked our notes, and apparently they were trolls. Oops. Well, Ron still liked it, so it's fine. And while it hasn't been confirmed by Ron, I had a theory that the giants were allied with the druids that we eventually met up with, because there's like this whole war going on between the druids and the Kingdom of Tharn. But that's just my theory, and it might be wrong, because they were trolls, not giants. And then for coloring the background, I took a different and arguably more difficult approach by just blotching in the colors where they were supposed to go instead of what I normally do, which is use the magic wand tool to select specific areas within the line work and fill them in using a key command. But for some reason, I didn't merge the background lines with the border lines, so there wasn't a closed off space for me to select specific pieces. So if I had tried to select like the patch of grass that we're running on to color it green, the whole background would have been green. I don't know why I didn't merge them and make it easier and quicker for myself, but whatever, you know, these things happen and we get the same result regardless. It's just a lot more tedious cleaning up where the splotches bleed into each other. I didn't do anything too fancy for the shading and just use the soft airbrush tool on the background objects, use the lasso tool for the background itself, so the grass in the road, and then just a simple line brush for the foreground characters, which I then blended to look a bit like the airbrush shading, but more precise. Very simple, very quick. I honestly debated leaving it all in grayscale, but I think adding color was a good call. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. A lot of you said you really liked my little story time with my D&D Party drawing, so I wanted to continue that. As always, be sure to like this video, give it ring the bell, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.